you see a sign that says 10 foot 5 inches, and you're like, oh my goodness, what am I? Am I 9'9" or 10'9"?
I could see us doing that.
Along these roads we roam, we find adventure through traveling, camping, boondocking, and exploring.
Hello everybody and welcome to Vlogcast episode number 97. My name is Russ.
And I'm Kerry.
And we are the Roads We Roam. We're a couple living full-time in our little guy Max.
And today we are going to talk to you about the importance of knowing your weight.
Yes, we actually did this a couple weeks ago back at the Tucson Escapade.
And it's not our weight. It is the weight of our rig and why it is important.
It is somewhat our weight because you do have to weigh your tow vehicle as how you drive. That means me, you, and the dogs inside there too.
That's true. So if we suddenly go on a diet or if we suddenly binge, these numbers could change. But why is it important to know your weight?
Yeah, well, I know right off the bat, it comes down to how well you could put undue stress on your camper. Mm-hmm. So if you're too heavy, the camper, it can be dangerous, but areas can fail.
Exactly, and that could void your warranty.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are driving with your rig and you have too much weight on it, or too much weight on one side versus the other side, you could cause the wear and tear of some of your components to function in a way in which they weren't designed. And if the manufacturer finds that that's what you were doing, they could void your warranty and not help you repair some of the issues that you may run into.
Yeah, I kind of jumped the gun because the very first thing that comes to mind is safety.
Exactly, and that is the second one that I had on the list. And these are in no order because I think safety is the first thing that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. And if you are driving something that's too heavy, you can't control the vehicle very well.
Yeah.
Or you could break down on the side of the road, and a lot of times it's in the most inconvenient places.
Well, yeah, that's a dangerous situation too because you figure you're on the highway, you got vehicles doing 70, 75 miles an hour, you're sitting there. You've all seen the videos where on police cams and stuff where cars are parked on the side of the road and another car slams into it because they're fixated on the vehicle on the side of the road.
Exactly.
So, and then I know we talked about this as well. There are also legal issues involved.
Let's say you're in an accident, and it could be not your fault, but if the investigation shows that you were driving your trailer and it was overweight, they could actually come to you and put you at fault, and they could have a lawsuit against you. So there are multiple reasons why you should know your weight. And one last thing, even though law enforcement doesn't enforce it, a lot of RVs are not required to do those scales on the freeway.
Yeah.
But at any time, they could start imposing those, and you could also have fines according to that.
You could get pulled over by law enforcement, and they could say, this thing looks overweight, or I wonder if they're overweight, and they could take you in and have you weighed, and if you're overweight, they could issue a citation.
So how do you get it weighed? That was our next question. We knew we had to get it weighed. How do you get it weighed? Now, there are a couple of options that you can do. One of the things that you brought up right away.
Well, you could go to a gravel pit. They do that.
Now, if you're not close to a gravel pit or you don't feel comfortable, there are truck stops that have certified scales.
Yep.
You can go to those. You don't have to be a big rig trucker to go use those. And I found out, because I'm always into the apps, that you can download this thing called Weigh My Truck app, and that will give you a lot of the locations where you can go and get your rig weighed. We opted to do the SmartWeigh program through Escapees. Now, there's two ways that we know of that you can take advantage of this program. One, you can go to their headquarters at Livingston, Texas, and they have their SmartWeigh scale system all set up there. Or you can do what we did, and they have different large gathering rallies, such as Escapade, where they bring their SmartWeigh crew out, and that is what we did, and that is what we are going to talk about today to give you an idea of what to expect through that process.
Yeah, it was a pretty simple process. The first step was registering to get that taken care of. So when we first came in, we went over to the SmartWeigh booth, and then we signed up.
So when you sign up, it's a $55 fee to get your vehicle SmartWeighed, well worth the cost, and they give you some homework. They give you a sheet of paper and some instructions on to get information not only from your trailer, but from your tow vehicle. We're
Yep.
going to walk you through the type of information that they asked you to get. The first thing that we had to get was the GVWR on our tow vehicle, which is the gross vehicle weight rating. Here's a picture of what it looks like on our vehicle. We found ours on the driver's side door on the lower right corner. You needed to report on the gross axle weight rating for both the front and rear axles. We found ours on the driver's side door on the lower right corner. We next needed to find the GVWR and the GAWR of our trailer. If you look at this picture of our trailer, the arrow is pointing to the stickers that provide this information. You also need the load ranges and the DOT ages from both your tow vehicle as well as your trailer tires. So there are 2 stages to getting your vehicle weighed through the SmartWeigh program.
So the first stage is taking the tow vehicle and getting that weighed. You want to do that as you travel. That means everybody that's going to be in it. That means a full tank of gas. That means dogs. That means everything that you hit the road with in that truck.
And after you do that, you hitch up your vehicle to the trailer and you'll go through the same process again. Now the process involves you driving up to these scales. Now when we showed up at Escapade, they had 4 different attendants. Each tire went onto its own individual scale. We pulled forward and then the tires from the trailer went onto the scales as well. Now what's important about this is they are able to get the exact weight from each tire, each axle. So not only can they tell you the entire weight, but they can tell you which side is weighing more than the other, which is
Yep.
very important.
And that's part of the process here. They tell you how your weight is distributed throughout the trailer, and they talk about ways to redistribute that weight. And not only side to side like Kerry is mentioning, but front to back. So with all this process that you go through, you get your gross vehicle weight, as well as you get your pin or tongue weight.
So the amount of time that it takes you to do the process is very quick. Now we did ours at Escapade where a lot of other people were doing it, so to streamline the process, they broke it up into 2 days. The first day was just our vehicle, and we got in and out of that line in about 15 minutes. And then the second day was when we were hitched up, and those were actual appointment times for people, which they staggered that really well. We had no wait when we came up. We did it. We were done in a matter of minutes. And then as soon as you were done going through the scales, they had a one-on-one consultation with you where they came through to review all of your results.
Yeah, now included in those results are our heights. While we were getting weighed, they measured the height of the highest part of the trailer.
So how did we do? Let's go over some of our statistics. Now you just mentioned the height. How
Yep.
tall are we?
So we are 9 foot 9 inches.
And we have the 2018 Little Guy Max Rough Rider Edition, which is just a little bit higher than the standard one. So we are at 9'9". Our RV weight.
Yeah, it was 3725.
Exactly. And that we had about 75 pounds remaining.
It's cutting it close when it comes to RV weight, but bottom line, we're good.
Yes, our GVWR for the little guy is supposed to be 3,800, so we are 75 pounds underweight. I will take it. Now you learned something very interesting, the pin weight.
Yeah, also known as the tongue weight, should be right around 10% of your total weight. So our pin weight was actually 325 pounds.
So we had another 52 pounds that they suggested that we try to put towards the front of it to kind of help balance us out.
So now there are multiple ways they suggested. They said we could put some more water storage up front, you know, like our portable water things up front. That would get us the weight. But we also mentioned to them that we were looking at getting an extra propane tank put up front, and they said that would be perfect. That would also cover that. So they give you a lot of different options. A great tip that I learned was to take this information and put it on your dashboard. One example is, let's say you're driving down the road and in the heat of the moment, you see a sign that says 10 foot 5 inches. And you're like, oh my goodness, what am I? Am I 9'9" or 10'9"?
I could see us doing that.
Yeah, that
we
would
haven't run into it yet, but I could see that happen.
That could happen. So if you have that information along with your weights put on the dashboard of your vehicle, it's very simple to glance over and say, that's right, I'm 9'9", I could make it under that. Another great tip is to take, especially if you're going into Canada or something, take these heights and weights and convert them to metrics. because they'll do those heights and weights in metric. And if you're sitting there trying to do the math on the fly while you're doing 60 miles an hour down the road, that could be difficult. Another thing is to take your total weights, even if you're not going out of the states, take your total weight and convert that into tons. Because you'll see when you're going to go over a bridge and they have a weight max alert, they're not going to say, oh, the maximum weight is 5,000 pounds.
Exactly.
They're going to say the maximum weight is 1.5 ton, etc. And if you don't know that conversion, like I don't know that conversion right now, you might be in trouble.
So all of this was very eye-opening. We learned a lot through the process. And if you have any other tips or tricks, know of different locations or ways that people can get their vehicle weighed, please leave them in the comments below.
Yep. Or there are other multiple ways you can get a hold of us.
You can get a hold of us at theroadsweroam.com. We have a contact page which you can find our email information. You also have the option of leaving us a voicemail on the orange tab that says leave voicemail on our pages.
Yep.
We can also be found at Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter. So that's all we have for today. We hope you found this useful. Please consider clicking that like and subscribe button. Bye.